Hello YouTube. In my last speedrun video, a frequent sentiment in the comments was that the speedrun was only possible because a new account pulls the current meta's characters, so you have an inherent advantage against the power creep, but that those characters won't be able to do that as soon as the meta changes. I strongly disagree, and here is the free-to-play account I've been playing over the past year to prove it. This account was started on April 10th of 2024 when I pulled Clara on the starter banner. Since then, I invested all my Stellar Jade and energy vertically into Firefly, whom I pulled because I love mecha, and Feixiao, whom I pulled because I love tomboys with big axes. This account has seen the meta for its characters come and go, but has gotten full stars on every stage ever since it pulled Firefly, and beat the game for the first time. Let's see how it does in the end game right now. Alright, let's do these endgame modes in order of release. So Apocalyptic Shadow has been with us for a couple of weeks now. It's rotating next week, so let's get this one out of the way first. For this mode, we're actually using the speed buff instead of the follow-up one, and that's because it's a little bit better. March herself doesn't actually do that much follow-up damage, so this one ends up being slightly better for her. And the speed tuning that we have set up on this team makes it so that March will always get this enhanced attack before the Robin reset. So this allows us to kill the dice. Now we just farm some skill points. We could use the ultimate here, but we don't use it because we want to maximize Feixiao turns. And the same thing goes for this Gallagher ult. We're actually not going to use it just yet because I want to have him change turn order so that he can kill a dice for us. So for example, March is going to attack this, but she's not going to be able to kill it on her own. So Gallagher's going to help her, putting him ahead of Feixiao. Great. So now that we are maxed out on our ult charges, we're going to use one of the ults to get the boss closer to reset it. And now we skill, and then we give March an extra turn. So this rotation is going to break him. And now that he's broken, we can get the bonus damage from Feixiao's ult. There are some rotations where she actually can use that enhanced skill on a dice instead, and that speeds up the clock a little bit, but we're not going to be fishing for that here. So Robin gets out of her ult, and now she's going to be spamming skill to get back into her ult as fast as possible. Generally speaking, we don't have to worry about health. We're going to be back in the break mode before he's able to kill anybody. So March should be able to kill this with an enhanced basic, but just to be sure, so that we don't have to repeat. Yeah, see, that's why I did that. So instead, we're going to just use this here to kill it. At least it should kill it. Good. Skill again. Now... we're one dice away from flipping him. So we just do the multiplier dice. That flips him. Let's see. Don't know if March is going to be able to flip him on her own. No, it's not going to be enough. So we'll just help out with the ult. And he flips out. So the 1632 finish line is pretty standard for this team. It can get a little bit faster, but this is the most reliable. Alright. Now for the Firefly side. On this side, it actually doesn't really matter who we buff. Between Fugue and Firefly at this part of the fight, they'll do similar toughness damage. But we want to make sure to start debuffing these guys that give us energy and action advance before we do anything else. So the rabbit that triggers from Feixiao is going to hit this guy first. So we want to hit this to make sure. That the rabbit turns them off. We're gonna let the rabbit go before we use this ult. I guess that's a slight mistake. And now that the rabbit has just recently gone, we can use it here. That's what we wanted. Energy on Firefly. This will make her reset faster. And now we start turboing down these guys. Let's keep using damage to whittle down their toughness. Now the robots are going to start resetting. But we only need to break one of them to go into the break phase. Let's let some of these robots pop a little bit before ulting. And now we can do it. Just need to break one. Should be enough. So now we've got the skill points to actually activate Firefly. And we can go to 10 with damage. Buff everybody. Get the skill point. Mostly uneventful side, and now we have the reset. Alright, same thing as before, we want to focus on the action advance guy. Here we can spread the damage out a bit. Guess it doesn't really matter. And the angry robots are going to take away our energy for a little bit, so we just want to do this before they do that. So the robots are going to turn on Wingsho's attack. So we just want to make sure they're both at 3. Oh, that's messed up. Forgot I had to rebuff with Ruin May. 25, yeah, it's worth turning them here. The rabbit is 25 action value away. Alright, so they reset. Here we're just going to skill because we have to. I want to skill the energy guys the most. They're the least likely to get hit. Because our Firefly is limited in her range. And now we focus on the guys in the middle. Yeah, Link's just gonna break the guys on the side, so we can focus here with Firefly. And the rabbit will break the other one. Alright, and now we can go to town with damage. And we will buff Firefly for the bonus damage. Lingsha has done what she needed to do with the AoE. Yeah, we can push the rabbit a bit. We don't have to wait for it. Alright, 1771. Alright, next up is Pure Fiction. Obviously, March is going to do a lot less work than she would in other modes, so we're going to slot in Herda instead, in her position. But that's one of the nice things about Feixiao as a character, is that she can take advantage of a lot of these 4 stars, like Herda and March, to make her teams a lot more budget friendly. In Wave 1, the main thing to focus on is to make sure that the garbage cans get killed by Feixiao as soon as possible using her ultimate. They have a lot of toughness and a lot of HP, and they slow down the team a lot if you don't get rid of them fast. But the ultimate is the best way to do it, and it also triggers a Herda spin right away. So here we're going to use the ultimate. And this should get us into the next wave. Perfect. So the main thing to worry about in Wave 2 is that the televisions will always come out angry. And so what we need to do is make sure we always have some kind of ultimate that triggers them to be happy. Otherwise, we're going to lose energy, and that's going to slow us down. Especially Robin, who kind of needs her energy as soon as she comes out. These televisions are happy. You can kill this one, though. Alright. Close enough. But for Feixiao, the actual ultimate should continue going on the televisions. Very fortunate, we get our ultimate back faster. We don't have to waste the skill on it. Alright, this TV is going to be happy now. I'm going to hold off on the ult to see where the energy goes. Perfect. And I feel comfortable using the spin to win here, because we have the Gallagher ult as a backup in case the wave doesn't whip. Actually, if we use our Feixiao ult here before the wave ends, maybe we can actually push the wave along. Does not work out, so we use our Gallagher ult here just to make sure we don't lose the energy the worst time. Actually, I guess it doesn't really matter because we're going to get our Robin ult back. Cool. So Robin comes out of her ult, and because we were good at preserving her energy, she's able to reset right away. TV's going off, so I'm going to use my ultimate. Oh, he's actually happy. Yeah, maybe this is a mistake. So, in Wave 3, there's actually not much to worry about. We can just kill these guys at our leisure. Main thing to worry about really is to just make sure we kill the bugs first, because they damage the rest of the party. Enemies. Can we get us enough energy before the Robin ult fades? And I think we should be able to just keep killing the bugs. Just missed it. Alright. That's fine. We're just going to use it here. This will make sure we get to maybe try again in the next cycle. I'm getting kind of low, so I just want to make sure we get this ult out as fast as possible. Now, all he has to do is not target Feixiao and should be okay. And we're fine. Do we need to use this ultimate right now? We can actually wait for the whimsicality. Let's use it now. And get us into the whimsicality. Yeah, so we're gonna be able to get another set of turns as soon as Robin comes out. And this is why it's important to make sure that we actually get those turns as soon as possible. Because as you can see, this final reset is pretty tight. So if you were delayed on her ultimate reset at any point, you would miss a lot of points here. Here, we just need to make sure that we use our skill point. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to skill with both of these characters. And so you can see how Gallagher helps the team be energy efficient. Cool. Next is Firefly's side. Here, there's a lot of different things to do. You have Himiko. You can run her, and there's a lot of options that are viable for that, including running no healer option or running Linksha and Himiko. But for our purposes, we're just going to keep it simple, assume that you don't have any special pieces, just the main team, and go with Linksha Break. Firefly is still viable in this setup, although admittedly she is not that much better than Himiko. One nice thing that she does is that she clears the entirety of the first wave, and that she is able to... That's unfortunate. But she is able to keep the elites in the second and third wave permanently fire debuffed, which is nice to have. So we're just going to let this rabbit go, and then as soon as the rabbit goes, we use our ultimate. So we're able to comfortably get into the second wave, even without Himiko. Nothing special necessary. So here, I just want to break this guy so the rest of the team can start damaging the entire wave as soon as possible. Frost Break would not be that great here, so we'll just generate a skill point here. Air Break is fine. How close is the rabbit? Closest? That rabbit's pretty close. So now that we have him broken, we can focus Firefly on him. That will be maximizing the wave damage. And we'll just use this ultimate before the turbulence powers down. One nice thing about the Ruined May Light Cone is that it provides... actually, I'm going to do this here. Make sure to rebuff Linksha. Firefly should be able to get into her ult mode. That rabbit is really far away, so I'm actually going to turn the phase here. So the reason is Firefly is pretty close. We should be able to just generate a skill point here. Just keep debuffing. And Lingsha takes care of the waves. You can do one ultimate, give us some energy. Thank you, boss. Yeah, keep debuffing him. I want to break him as soon as possible. Now that he's broken, the rest of the team can do actual toughness damage to him. Let's try to break that guy, push the wave, perfect. So the rabbit is really far away, so I'm going to use the ultimate right here. Oh, that was a mistake, but we're okay. So here we have to basic because we want to make sure that Lingsha gets her skill. And that's one of those... The rabbit is still far away. That's one of those things that's nice about E1 Firefly over having her Waco, is that this Lingsha team actually works a lot better. Okay, so we lost our buffs, which is probably not a disaster. We're already over 60,000 points. Can we flip it? I guess it doesn't matter. So yeah, can we push this to 65,000? Yeah, probably. Alright. 65,000. Finally, Memory of Chaos. This current stage came out last week. Players have been having a hard time with it. In the past, Memory of Chaos used to be by far the easiest game mode in the game. But recently, because of HP inflation, it has caught up with the other modes. And personally, I don't think HP inflation itself is so bad. I think Memory of Chaos actually is in a good place right now. Because you actually have to do boss mechanics to make a good time on the final stage, which I think is a good thing overall for the game. The reason it is the hardest mode in general, and I think the reason it needs some improvement, is because unlike the other modes, it can't offer you any flexibility. So, for example, Pure Fiction and Apocalyptic Shadow, if you have a break team, will probably give you some kind of buff that allows you, to actually make your team work. But Memory of Chaos doesn't do that, and so I wonder if it needs some kind of change, but it's also at the same time kind of difficult to change it, because then what's so different between Memory of Chaos and Apocalyptic Shadow? I wonder if they'll ever change it. But in the meantime, it is what we have. The mode is what it is. Here we are holding on to our ultimates just to make sure that we are able to clear out these ghosts with the AoE. If we don't do that, it gets very annoying, and the boss gets a lot more difficult. Firefly, unfortunately, is not able to do that much damage here. Her main job really is to make sure that the enemy boss is fire debuffed. But here we're just going to lose the 0 cycle, which is fine. It's also probably going to wake up from his break. So we're going to start working towards him waking up, and we'll probably kill him using his second wave of ghosts. Alright, so he wakes up. He's going to generate the ghosts. We're going to generate our rabbits in return. She should be able to get her ultimate here, like this. And reapply the fire break. Now I can start turboing down the ghosts again. Now, killing this ghost and breaking him probably is going to... Yeah, this is going to for sure break him and push him into the next phase. Okay, he makes his new set of ghosts, and we retaliate with our own ultimates, as well as reapplying fire debuff. How close is the rabbit? Rabbit is kind of far. I think I'm gonna break here. So maybe I could have waited, but we're just gonna clean up here. So we put this back on her. She's gonna have to kill him when he comes back from his phase. Yeah, we can flip here. Just need to make sure we generate ultimates. Alright, buddy. So, he's now in Death Range. I think we're not going to be able to quite get him. Which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. So Firefly. Let's try it like this. Yeah, Firefly's not going to be able to get it. Unfortunate. We're a little bit short. We're going to lose a cycle here. We really care only about single target at this point. And Firefly finishes him off. And now, finally, the final stage, the Feixiao side of MOC. March is back on the team, and although she has type advantage against most of the stage, unfortunately Feixiao does not. She only has advantage against Kafka, so most of the HP on this stage is behind a disadvantage for her. And so combined with the fact that she doesn't have any mechanical advantage, she is technically not on meta right now. But I'm sure you'll still see a lot of zero cycles with her. Here we focus the lion because it's going to clear out the birds if we kill it first. And so I don't want any of the turbulence hits going and being wasted on them. And then here we're actually going to ult with Feixiao, because doing this ult will put March within 1 point of getting a turn reset right away. And so once she's broken the enemy, we use the energy because when the enemy wakes up, it's going to debuff us and take away our energy. In the meantime, we try to kill it, but fail. Very close. Anyway, it's going to wake up and do some damage to us. I would have honestly preferred to run Feixiao on the other team against the AoE. Unfortunately, the numbers just didn't work out with Herta, so I put Firefly on that side instead. As you can see, this stage is actually pretty excellent for somebody like Firefly. But unfortunately, we can't run her. So we're gonna do this with Feixiao and March carrying the one. So here, I do need to ult in order to make sure that nobody dies. And I don't think we're going to be able to do much in terms of finishing that wave on time. So we're just going to farm up some skill points here and farm up some ult charges for Feixiao before we reset the cycle. Yeah, this is all normal. Now we reset. I think March is probably going to be the one to finish this off, but we're off to a decent start. So here, we're going to let Kafka go, and then after Kafka goes, we're actually going to ult with Gallagher in order to cleanse Feixiao. And here, I probably want to use at least one of these ults before the Feixiao ult ends. I use both. Actually, I kind of want to use both. There's no reason not to. It resets March. Okay, take advantage of that. March gets a reset. I'd be really annoyed if this doesn't kill it, but I want to start working on the other side's toughness. Now kind of have to hope we don't die. Alright, we didn't die. Mission accomplished. Is this gonna reset March? No, it's gonna give us... She's still gonna give us a skill point. Do I want to... I guess we can do this now. It's not so bad. We don't have to wait. So we break, and now we use the ult. It is gonna wake up, so we're probably going to ult right after that. Or we could probably just wait for one turn to generate a skill point. Scary. Yeah, we're okay. But that was intimidating. wonder if the burst damage on Kafka is a little bit too high right now. Alright, we should be okay now that... Yeah, nice try, buddy. I can actually heal here. I actually could not heal there. That was a mistake. This is probably more important than another Feixiao. Let's see. Yeah, let's let Kafka go. And then we're gonna reset right after. Let's bring the toughness down as much as possible. And get it broken. Alright. Let's get one more ult, and we're done here. Let's talk about the meta first and then about vertical investment. It's true that meta characters have big advantages over off-meta characters in Honkai Star Rail, both through elemental weaknesses on the bosses and through mechanical bonuses from the stages that specifically benefit those characters. Older characters have advantages as well, however, perfect traces and perfect relics that they have time to accumulate. The meta changes slowly over several months, which is plenty of time to get the relics necessary to offset the stage modifiers changing. You don't have to pull perfectly either. I started this account a year ago to find out for myself if vertical investment was a viable strategy, and I made mistakes along the way. The biggest mistakes were related to light cones. I pulled the Firefly light cone because I believed I would need the Herda destruction light cone for Clara or Shui Yi, but in retrospect I didn't need to because I haven't used those characters at all after pulling my two main DPS. Unfortunately, one of the biggest problems with Star Rail right now is that standard banner and 4-star characters are so far behind that only 4 or 5 of them are actually worth building, and only if they fit directly into an archetype like Follow Up or Super Break. I also made the mistake of 10 pulling, which is how I ended up with S2 of the Fugue light cone, which wasted a lot of Stellar Jade because after that I had to do 160 pulls on the Linkshell light cone. Instead, I should have pulled E1 Jade for the Feixiao team. I didn't do it because I thought that Herda would be enough, but there's a big difference between the low HP enemies of Pure Fiction and the high HP multi-target fights of other game modes. Despite these mistakes, with correct use of boss mechanics and good relic farming strategies, this account is still able to beat the endgame with full stars, and I feel confident saying that vertical investment is a viable strategy for free-to-play. My main recommendation for people trying this is to have a solution for AoE and for single target for both teams. A new account will have access to 5 premium characters from Stellar Jade that comes from finishing everything in the game, and then an additional 10 characters over the course of the year from events and so on. My recommendation is to pull for 2 main DPS, their 4 supports, their 2 sustains, and then 2 AoE characters that fit into that archetype for a total of 10. For example, if you pulled Arglaya, Argenti fits in the same Sunday Robin Huohuo big energy shell as her. This leaves you with 5 pulls to spend on either characters or light cones. Personally, I prefer light cones because I like farming relics over traces, but anything works. I promised a relic guide, and that's still coming. I just needed to get this video out before 3.2 came out and the Stellar Jade store reset. I'll see you in the next one.